All right, what is up, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Camden, and it has been a while since I have made a video. It's probably been since spring break. I've been really busy with work and school, but I had some free time today, and I was in the mood to make a video. So, we are going to talk about the top 6 or so cars that I have driven in my 7.5 months of being a valet. Unfortunately, I haven't driven any supercars yet. This area isn't the most prosperous area in the region. If I was back in Florida, I guarantee I'd be driving some crazy cars. But we are here and still driven some cool things. A lot of the cars are not really comparable. So we're not going to do a strict top 5 in order. We are actually going to do some categories. And the categories are going to be fastest, slowest, the mom soccer team transporter, the best interior, and my overall favorite car that I've driven. So, first, we have the fastest car. This comes down to 2 different cars. Overall top speed will be the is a 2015 Audi RS7. It was white and it was really cool. I didn't get that much on the throttle, but I mean, even at a quarter throttle, you could tell it was fast. The car has a top speed of 190 or more, so that's pretty crazy. However, I also drove a brand new BMW M5. Now, the M5 with the M Driver's Edition is not as fast as the RS7, but the interior was much nicer. So I think overall, a brand new M5 was a little cooler as far as being a top speed fast car than a few years old RS7. However, both were super nice and pretty awesome. Alright, so next we have the slowest car, the coolest and slowest car that I've ever driven. Not the coolest, but absolutely the slowest. This was a 90s Dodge Cummins. This thing was huge. It was massive. The guy pulled up. It was a dually. And it was a dually. I could tell it was a Cummins right away because it was super loud. You could hear the subtle turbo spool. And he got out and he was like, in a country accent, "You can drive stick, right?" And I was like, "Yes, sir, I can." But I didn't even register that he pulled up in a huge dually truck, and it was a stick shift. I don't remember if it was 5 or 6 speeds. I didn't get that high. I only got to, what, 3rd gear or something. Drove it around the block and into the parking garage. This thing was massive, and I was so high up in the air. I felt like those, you know, those viral, like, how to drive an 18-speed semi truck. I felt like that. I was sitting up super high, bouncing down the road, up high. 2nd gear, 3rd gear, super long throw on the transmission, on the shifting, but it was a lot of fun, and it was one of the more unique cars that I have driven as a valet for sure. So what is next? We have the Soccer Mom Transporter. All right. Now this car, I've seen it in the news a lot. That's a cool truck. Dang, old Jeep. Anyway, I've seen this car a lot. It is the Volvo SUV. I've driven a couple of the Volvo SUVs. I don't remember the exact models, but they were both brand new, 2018, 2019. But as far as SUVs go, they're probably one of the nicer interiors that I've driven. Definitely one of the best values. They are nice, super comfortable, and just super luxury looking interior for the price of a Volvo. I just think they're really stepping up their game, and the Volvo SUV may be one of the better soccer mom transporters that the soccer team transporters that you can buy. All right, what is next? Interior or most ridiculous car? I think we're gonna go with the most ridiculous looking car that I've driven. This was a Range Rover, 2018 base model Range Rover, or the base body style, just a regular old Range Rover, but it had already been turned into a donk. It was crazy. So super nice, brand new Range Rover interior. Oh, I hope the sun isn't messing us up too much here. But it was a super nice, brand new Range Rover. Super nice interior, super clean. But it was on like 24s or huge wheels. These things were chrome and gold and white, had the rivets and everything. They were huge. But it was, I felt like, I don't know, I felt like such a G just driving down the street in this thing, a limo tent, and it was pretty crazy. I mean, the wheels were so big, they were at the point where you couldn't see this sidewall at all. You couldn't even tell there were tires on it. They were tucked up in this big old donk Range Rover. Pretty ridiculous, but I didn't mind driving it. It was kind of cool. And so before we get to my favorite car, we have two more categories here. Next one is interior. This was by far the best interior that I've been in. It was a AMG. It was an E-Class. It was a higher end E-Class, or it wasn't an AMG, I'm sorry. It was a Mercedes. Mercedes E-Class, not an AMG, but definitely one of the higher end models. But it was super nice. It had the top of the line interior that you could get. It had those LED like lines that go around like you're in a spaceship or something. And the seats, my gosh, the seats were crazy. So you got in and they were super comfortable. They had the massaging seats. I didn't turn those on. I didn't want to, mess with their car too much. But they had all the different functions of a massaging seat. And they were just super cushy and nice. I was driving, took a turn, not even a fast turn, but the bolstering of the seat swelled out to keep me in place. So I was super surprised. It was crazy. I know you've probably heard of the smoking tire and Matt Farah. He wrote a review on a newer Mercedes with the same seats. He wrote 3,000 words just on the seats. So you can imagine just how crazy that these seats must be, and just how nice this interior is. And before we get to my favorite car that I've driven, we have an honorable mention, and it has to go to a white-on-white Tesla Model X. I know it's a Tesla, it's an electric car. They're kind of cool. They're cool to drive around. I don't know if I'd own one, but it was super nice just to kind of cruise around the block and park. I don't know. They were cool. The interior was super nice, and so it could kind of go in a couple categories, like super fast accelerating, really nice interior. I just wanted to give an honorable mention to that white-on-white Tesla Model X. And all right, fastest car. We had the fastest car, slowest car, most ridiculous car, soccer mom, and best interior. And now we're at my favorite car that I have driven as of yet. This has to go, to an E92 BMW M3. It was so cool. I understand why people are about to go crazy, or still are going crazy, over the V8 M3. This was the last manual stick shift M3. It was the last naturally aspirated M3, and it was the only V8 M3 that was ever made. This thing it sounded awesome. He had an exhaust on it. It was just, immediately when he pulled up, I was like, I call this car, this is crazy. And ended up I would have gotten it anyway, because out of 10 valets, I was one of only, I think 2 that knew how to drive manual. So I hopped on that. It was a white M3, full carbon package, exhaust, everything. It was super cool. Even just driving it, I drove it 1 block in a square and then all the way up to the top of the parking garage, up the hills and everything. It was amazing to be in, amazing sounds. I wish I could have gotten it over like 3,000 RPM, because I heard that's where those cars really love to be. They just love to scream up there at the top of the RPM range. Didn't get to do that, obviously. It was a customer's car. Definitely respect the cars. However, it was just awesome to be in. The dude had like almost 200,000 miles on it. I've never heard of the car having that much. I think it was like 180. It was either high, it was like 189 or like 191, somewhere way up there in the miles for being a M3 with those have those bearing issues where they can just, bearings will like go out and explode. I don't know, but he'd taken really, really good care of it, and just awesome cars. I think that's one of the cars that you need to buy right now, being the last naturally aspirated M3, the last stick shift M3, and the only V8, probably one of the best sounding M3s out there. It was just awesome. Definitely worth it. I would get one if I had the money to get one, and they will probably appreciate if you get one at a good price with a good mileage. So, those are some of the top cars that I've driven as a valet. There's some other nice ones here and there, but those were probably my 6 favorite, most unique cars. I hope to drive some pretty cool cars here coming up in the future, with some nice events. Maybe, we'll see. If I get a valet position down in Florida, I am sure that we would be driving some pretty cool supercars. However, I'm happy with where I'm at. Happy that I've driven some cool cars, and hopefully I'll be back to making some videos shortly in the future, maybe in the summer. We'll see, but I hope you guys have a great day. Like the video if you like it, dislike if you dislike, and tell me why, of course. I will see you later.